Welcome back, everybody, to 31 1980s horror movies for Halloween, where I'm counting down my favorite horror movies from the 1980s. We have a classic here today, and I'm shocked this movie didn't make it higher on the list, but when putting everything in order, this was the place where it ended up, and I couldn't figure out a way to get it higher just because I love all the movies after this so much. But this is a great movie, underrated as hell, should be watched by more people, and that is Pumpkinhead. Let's show some love to the late, great Stan Winston. This is the man who brought the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park to life. He was one of the greatest people in practical effects, and he gave us one of the best horror movies of the 1980s, Pumpkinhead, which is a revenge horror movie, and such a great monster movie. So this movie is starring Lance Henriksen in one of his best roles. For me, it's this and Bishop from Aliens. I think those are his two greatest performances. He plays a man named Ed Harley. This movie takes place in a hillbilly society, but it's a horror movie that's different from most hillbilly horror movies. In most hillbilly horror movies, the hillbillies are the bad guys, but in Pumpkinhead, the hillbillies aren't really the bad guys in this movie. Ed Harley does something morally questionable, but he was tricked into doing it, and you believe that you don't see Ed Harley as the bad guy.
Billy, I want you to stay right here and mind things, okay? I gotta fetch something up at the house.
Yes, sir, Daddy.
And then we take us a little ride.
So Ed Harley has a son, and he really loves his son. His son is all he has. You know that his wife died and all that. And later on in the movie, these city folk come to this area to, ride their dirt bikes and their motorcycles around. Now, Ed Harley has to make a trip, and he leaves his son behind to watch their store. And while the son is watching the store, there ends up being an accident, and the son gets run over. Now, Ed Harley is stricken with grief because he loves his son, and he believes that these teenagers left his son to die, but that's actually not what happens. One of the teenagers left the kid to die, but the rest tried to figure out how to help this kid.
Get to the cabin. There's a phone over there.
It's all right.
Chris! Take care of her and I'll stay with the kid. Yeah. Thank you. Help Chris with making. I'll stay with the kid.
This is a poor hillbilly town, so there aren't a lot of telephones. So the rest of the teenagers, or, college kids or whatever, they go to try and find a phone, and one of them stays with the kid, to try and help. Now, Ed Harley doesn't know that's what happened, and his son ends up dying, and he wants revenge. He is stricken with grief, and he wants revenge. So he visits this witch named Haggis, one of the scariest people in horror. Haggis is terrifying.
God damn you, God damn you.
He already has, son. He already has.
So Haggis tricks Ed Harley into summoning this demon of revenge known as Pumpkinhead. And the way it works is, if someone wants revenge for a very serious crime, it has to be like murder. That's what the crime needs to be to summon Pumpkinhead. That person can summon Pumpkinhead, and then Pumpkinhead will kill everyone who this person wants revenge against. And it turns out that when Ed Harley summons Pumpkinhead, he's then connected to Pumpkinhead. and he sees what Pumpkinhead sees when he's murdering these people. And he realizes that he made a mistake and what he did was wrong, and then he tries to do whatever he can to stop Pumpkinhead. Of course, you can't really stop Pumpkinhead. It has to run its course, in the words of Haggis.
No, not like this. Not like this. I see it. This is wrong.
Nothing I can do. He's gotta run his course now.
Pumpkinhead is one of the greatest movie monsters ever put on film. I mean, this was directed by Stan Winston, and the effects work was done by Stan Winston's company, so you know you're in good hands here. Pumpkinhead looks really damn good. I mean, this is a fantastic monster, and again, it's all done practically. This is a person in the suit, and it's done practically, so you have a creature there that people can actually interact with. You know, if someone... This is a creature that can grab somebody. This is a creature that can stick its face in someone else's face, and there's something physically there for the person to react to. But the creature does not steal the whole show. It's a great creature and it's the best part of the movie, but it's not the only thing in this movie. There's an atmosphere to this movie that you feel throughout the film. The scenes with Ed Harley and Haggis are fantastic scenes, and they just set the mood in this movie. I mean, Haggis, like I said, is a very intimidating character. It's this perfect combination of practical effects and great atmosphere and an interesting story. Again, this is a revenge story, so it could be very simple, you know, just someone bringing a monster to kill people, but the fact that Ed Harley realizes what he did was wrong and is trying to stop it, despite the fact that these teenagers did kill his son. Admittedly, yes, it was an accident, but his son is still dead, and he's not coming back. And you could have so easily turned Ed Harley into this tragic villain. You know, someone who is wants Pumpkinhead to kill all these people. But the fact that Ed Harley wants to stop this, and wants to essentially save the people who killed his son, it makes it such a... It makes Ed Harley an even more tragic character.
Can't you call it off?
Nothing can call it off. But I'm gonna send it back to whatever hell it come from.
And I love the folklore that comes from this movie. You know, the fact that Pumpkinhead is this boogeyman in this society makes the movie come alive a little more. I love when a movie creates its own folklore around its creature, because it just makes the creature stand out even more.
Shut up, Hesse.
Keep away from Pumpkinhead unless you're tired of living.
His enemies are mostly dead. He's mean and unforgiving. Stop it!
And I love how the society refuses to get involved once Pumpkinhead comes after whoever he's after. They all lock themselves inside and they're trying to ignore what's happening outside. Again, it just creates this dynamic.
I didn't kill that girl.
I don't know nothing about that and I don't want to.
I said I did, Tom, but I didn't.
No, I'm sorry, I am. But I can't risk my family for you, Clayton.
Pumpkinhead is just a perfect October movie. The movie oozes with October atmosphere, so I see no reason why someone should not watch Pumpkinhead for the Halloween season. I'm sure a lot of people have already seen Pumpkinhead, but for Halloween, you can't go wrong with Pumpkinhead.